Ladies and gentlemen, it is your sweet Zionist prince, Tal, the traveling clad, back here for another one. Today we're looking at this clip from a Palestinian professor, I believe, about the conflict.
Is the Palestinian crisis a land dispute, in your opinion?
No, I don't think so at all. It's a religious issue, and I asked one. It's mainly when you see the whole Palestinian issue. Their problem is they don't want Jews to survive there. So if all Jews became Muslims one day, they will have no problem with that. So the issue with them is Jews.
This is very much true, by the way, if anybody has ever doubted it. This is very, very, very much true.
One day a friend of mine, if all Jews converted to Islam in Israel, will you still have this fight and trouble? He said, of course not. I said to him, then this is not a problem of a land. It's a problem just because they are Jews.
It's actually a 2-4. So let's break this down real quick before we get into the rest of his statement. One, if all the Jews in this land converted to Islam, 1,120,000,000%, the Muslims would still attack the Jews. Because everywhere in the Muslim world, Muslims are killing each other in the name of Allah, in the name of Islam, in the name of the Quran, in the name of Muhammad. Everywhere in the Muslim world, everywhere, they are killing each other. So 100%, if all the Jews just magically accepted Islam and converted and became, believers in Muhammad, we would still be persecuted because this is what Muslims do to each other. So he's not 100% correct on it, but yes, there is a very big religious element to this conflict.
So, and when you listen to the Arab media, when you follow the Arab media, when you follow the people, it's all about a religious war against the Jews. And they wanted to take it further to apply the prophecies that Muslims will slaughter and kill every Jew in the world. This is one of the prophecies in some book called Al-Bukhari. It's not in the Quran. But it's in a book called Al-Bukhari that's well respected by many Muslims as a source of hadith book for the words of Prophet Muhammad, and there is this what they dream about is to fulfill this prophecy of killing every Jew there. So the problem here is it's not a view. When you listen to the mosques, when you listen to the sermons, when you see the media, how they incite hatred and violence against people just because they are Jews. So you will realize that it's not a land dispute.
In 1941, my grandparents were like 16 years old, living in Iraq, in Baghdad. 1941, it was June 1st, 1941. Arab Muslims of Iraq decided that the Jews who had been living amongst them and even predated their existence of Islam in this land for about 2,000 years, since the destruction of the first temple when Jews were casted out from Jerusalem into Babylon, they decided they were not worthy of life, and they attacked them with swords, massacring around 180, injuring and looting the homes of about 1,000 others. This is known as the Iraqi Farhud. Muslims are special in the manner where they seem to, by the prophecy of God and by the direction of God, they are able to both contemplate and understand a book that came about 1,000 years ago, and understand how to translate it into an actionable movement in the modern day. And they have been doing this to Jewish people for 1,000 years. Whether it was massacres in Morocco that killed 50,000, or demeaning Jewish people in Yemen who predated the Muslims there as well, and in Morocco, by the way, by not allowing them to ride a horse because they shouldn't be taller than a Muslim, or by making them wear yellow stars or yellow badges on them, having to make them walk barefoot through their town so that they wouldn't have any more respect than a Muslim, by ethnically cleansing and murdering them. Muslims seem to show us that they understand something or have a connection with Allah that the rest of us don't, and that it allows them to mistreat Jewish people as much as they want, as frequently as they want, anywhere they want, with no repercussions. I'm happy to say that we live in a world nowadays where there's checks and balances. There didn't used to be. My grandparents didn't get their checks and balances. They got kicked out. and they had to flee. And they've been attacked every single day since then. My grandma, my mother, and my father, and now me. I'm third generation in this land who's being attacked by Arab Muslims, whether that's missiles coming from Iraq, the very place our family left, drones coming from there, or Yemen, or Syria, or Lebanon, or Gaza. Arab Muslims seem to have this special power to be able to determine when Allah seems it is right or deems it to be correct to attack the Jewish people. And nobody else is given this right.
If America pushes Israel to concede land and to establish...
This will encourage the jihadists more and more in their path. In fact, America should do the opposite. When the jihadists attacked America in September 11, they wanted to see these concessions happening. And if you showed them concessions, they will just attack you again. As when you were weak in 1998 and you didn't respond strongly enough against the attack on your embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, they attacked you again, and it was stronger. But when you went very hard on them, they haven't attacked you for years, and because they are afraid of you. So the jihadist mind is a different mind. You have to show them that what they want to achieve, they are getting the opposite.
Trust. I think his name is Ahmed Tawfik. I think that was his name. Trust him. Trust Mossab Hassan Youssef when he tells you the same thing. Trust Yusuf Haddad when he tells you the same thing. Trust the great Mansour Ashkar, good friend of mine who also has a YouTube channel. Subscribe to him. Druze Israeli. Love this man. Arab Israeli. He will tell you the same thing. With Arab Muslims, with the jihadis, with the Islamists, the only way to respond is with overwhelming force. Right now you see a ceasefire happening in Israel, you just empower them. Again, not coming for the ceasefire. I'm so eternally grateful to see the hostages coming home. But, every concession like that gives the Islamic world, the Ummah, the Islamists, energy to continue to fight. The only way to defeat them is with overwhelming force, uncalculated force, no equality in that force. Overwhelming. Every single person who has shook hands with Arabs, who has been a part of the Muslim world, who has lived inside or out of it and understands it, will tell you the same exact point.
So if they are expecting you to do pressure on Israel, for example, to do concessions to them, then in fact you do the opposite of this, and this will give them a lesson. Don't attack us again, because we will not surrender to you, and we will do the opposite of what you want. So they feel they are losing, not gaining by their attacks. This is the message that you have to convey to them, and so to change their mind and to make them think twice before attacking you again or trying to attack you.
You know, these are messages that they rarely come out of the Muslim world, because it's either going to come out of an ex-Muslim or a Muslim who's very moderate, who understands the inner workings of the Muslim world. That's why I feel like that message is not projected enough. But look at it. There's so much consistency in that very message that I want to make sure I'm naming him correctly. Ahmed Tawfik, is that his name? Tawfik Hamid, sorry. Dr. Tawfik Hamid. I want to honor his name because he's very, very correct about this. This is what it takes when battling the Muslim world. And unfortunately, Am Yisrael, the Jews, are in a battle with the Muslim world. We're in a war with the Muslim world. We have been for the last 76 years, where we've been able to defend ourselves. Before that, we were just being oppressed by them. Now we're actually in a war. We've been in a war. Before, we were just being oppressed, and God bless, we actually are able to defend ourselves and win time and time and time again. We do a great job at it. So, I take those words as gospel. I listen to them when Arabs tell me. And all the Arabs that I've connected with this year who appreciate my content and appreciate my voice and are convinced by me and my rhetoric and my messaging, I know you guys are listening right now, and I know there's a bunch of you. I know that not a lot of you guys are allowed to speak up or connect with me, even though, just so you know, if you connect with me and you let me know your story, we'll keep it private. I never tell anybody. There's so many of you Arabs that I have some of you even have my WhatsApp number personally. We talk all the time. But, a lot of you are in my DMs or in messaging or in my Discord, and we talk. And I know you guys, and I appreciate you guys. And I know there's a lot of you out there who can't speak up. But you guys are the ones who I listen to. You guys are the ones who have been educating me more than anyone. Because, yes, I grew up in an Arabized family, an Iraqi Jewish family. So I kind of have those values, but you guys are really the ones who have been teaching me a lot. You've been teaching me how to get more Muslims on my side, and that's what I intend to do. You guys have been teaching me how to get those Arabs to listen to me. That's exactly the strategies I employ in my content. For any of you guys who think I'm overly emotional in my content, the way I speak, my demeanor, just know that the tall that you see making this content is very, very deliberate and calculated, almost psychotic in a way, because I'm doing something, I'm trying to employ a strategy to get a specific audience to watch me. It's a specific type of person who I want to engage with my content. The rest of you, I appreciate you and I love you and thank you so much for making my work real. It's the only way I can continue, and for those of you guys who support me financially, thank you. But the real reason I do what I do, and have been doing it since the first day I started doing advocacy for Israel, is only for the Arabs. Because it's not interesting to me to preach to the choir, even though, it does happen. The only real interest for me here is to talk to the Arab side, to talk to the Muslim side. Go look at who I was for 10 years traveling around the world on this channel. Go look at the happy-go-lucky, open-minded, tall, who would never let these inner thoughts that you see today come out. What you see today is a very deliberate, very calculated tall who's here to, inshallah, change the world. That's the idea. That's the reason why I'm in an Arabic course right now, learning Arabic. So hopefully, inshallah, I can be fluent as well. I love you guys a long time. Thank you so much for supporting my work, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, class. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat, or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.